PlayStation 4 controller. There's bubbles on my microphone stand. There's bubbles everywhere tonight. It's not a control.
This one's for all my baby girls.
Nice.
And it starts to click, you know. If someone just keeps saying sorry when they do something, they're not really apologizing.
So make sure it's not, if you could listen to it, make sure
if you apologizing isn't just words, it's I will not do this thing again because I feel bad about it.
Okay.
If you keep doing the thing, it's not actually an apology.
You have no respect for people that are alive, for fucking people that are dead. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
Hey, chat looks pretty nice.
You have no respect.
The starting soon is.
Apologizing isn't just words.
You have no respect. Do you value money more than our friendship?
But that's the way of them saying, we want nothing to do with Phil at all moving forward. Let's make up a bunch of shit or twist a bunch of shit to make him sound bad because everyone hates him now anyway on the internet. So let's make him look like the villain so everyone will believe it and we'll just be washing our hands of the whole situation. We never have to deal with it.
It's actually, I can hear us in the
Literally, no
stream.
one bugs them anymore.
So
Nothing.
Hello,
It's all, they're
everybody.
completely
Welcome.
washed.
Hey, you're not supposed to
Welcome to the
No
podcast.
respect
How come this?
for people that are alive, for fucking people that are dead. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself. You have no respect.
Apologizing isn't just words. It's I will not do this thing
You
again
have no respect.
because I feel bad about it.
He watches too much WWE. John starts getting text messages at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. That means it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there. So now, when you start reading them, you start looking at it, and it doesn't make any sense why he's even texting. And it's not even coherent. So you start wondering if the guy was, like, if he's been drinking and texting.
I don't have the source for desktop audio on there.
I actually admitted this last year. I'll say it again. I actually do play some mobile games. I do. All right? The ones that I play are free to play or
I think we're ready.
incredibly inexpensive, like you spend $1 here or there to make progress.
This one's for all my baby girls.
Got me that gotcha. I love it. Got me that gotcha.
Because they always put you different places.
Gotcha. Begging for fucking tips and shit on street. It's WWE Champions time. I'm stupid. WWE game plays like Candy Crush. Moving gems around, breaking colored gems. I love it. Again, it's pay to win. The more money you sink into it, the more characters you can summon, the higher chance you'll get the better characters, etc., etc. All right? Got me that gotcha. I love it. Got me that gotcha. Begging for fucking tips and shit on street. Gotcha. Got me that gotcha. Thanks for the money, dummies. Supercut. That was a mobile game I played like 5-6 years ago, a lot. For about a year, I played it pretty hardcore. All right, even at that point, that was before everything kind of fell apart with YouTube and everything. I was putting a little bit of money into it. I was playing for the top cards. I was playing the shit out of that game, okay? After about a year, they launched what they called Season 2, which reset all the cards in the game and made all your progress essentially worthless. And I said, this game fucking sucks. What a complete waste of time that this was, all right? Today, some shithead hater will take something that I say out of context, and a ton of morons will watch that video. So within a day or two, that video will get like 5,000 views. While my daily gameplay videos, you're getting what, like 1,000 views, if that? Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not?
That was my depression.
YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane.
Still does think depression is just something you
toxic.
turn on or turn off
life.
at certain points. It's not like
it became a meme, right? The meme was to hate on me. What are the legitimate reasons?
I had depression for a little bit, but now it's gone. But
over the
back.
years, are you shitting me how I've changed and how different I am now? There is nothing fucking legitimate you could do. With the shit these people say and do, the insane amounts of slander and defamation about me that's just untrue on the internet. There's no way I could ever, in any capacity, you know, legally or otherwise, there's no way I could even dispute 99% of the shit they say because of the insane amount of it that they say.
Now we
cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not? YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane. This is fucking toxic. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not? YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful fucking.
Hello, everyone. We are here. It is That Being Said podcast. I'm ALTInsider, joined by Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic Sam. I always want to say that, but that's not his name. His name is Fantastic Mr. Sam. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm very, very well. How are you?
I'm feeling really good. On the other side of my head is the legendary Meerkat. How you feeling, my friend?
Welcome, everyone. Thanks. I'm feeling great. I'm excited to chill, interact, and discuss everything that has happened in the Pig Roach cinematic universe this week.
Definitely. Before we get started on that, I got to say, positivity overflowing this week, guys. It was really cool to, last week was our first show, and it was just, we weren't sure how it's going to go, right? But yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback. It's really cool. It makes us feel excited to, it's still a new venture, but we're excited to keep it rolling here with episode number 2. Before we get to that, I'll make this as quick as possible, unlike someone else we know. We do have a audio version of this show. It's on all the platforms now. So we're talking about Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get it, you can find it. Check out the links below that are going to be added there now. If they're not there already, I'm not sure. Actually forgot to check, but check it out there. We also have a Twitter that I am kind of running. You can follow Mr. Fantastic Mr. Sam and Meerkat at their Twitters. I made a Twitter just for the show because I have another Twitter, but it's kind of more for business stuff. I didn't want to overflow with Phil stuff, but on this new Twitter, I can just overflow with Phil stuff. So get on that if you don't want it. Also, Meerkat's Discord is a fantastic place always, but now it's even better because we have a dedicated location for talk about this fantastic show you're watching right now. So please go check that out. If you have questions there, we can answer them sometime in the future in the show, probably, if you ask a good question, of course. But yeah, okay, so we're going to start this week with a little segment. Everyone's going to say a little point, whatever they want to talk about this week. Anything is open. I'll start with you, Meerkat. What do you want to share with us today?
I have what is called the Beggar's Digest. This is the phenomenal new segment of basically a compilation of all the interesting videos that I think came out that I enjoyed, and I would recommend others can go and check out as well. Let's do this real quick. We start off with LOLIFESTV had a new video on DSP about him begging, the dedicated begging video. We'll get to that later, but that video itself is great. Go check it out. GTG came back with 2 videos this week. They're both great. Go check them out. They're not in the description probably, but you can just look it up, okay? Dick Stroke and Phil Vlogs has a snort edit that was fantastic. KingjadVCMP is doing a charity stream tomorrow, the 30th, with Playing With Your Beliefs. Go there and give them a lot of money for charity. Let's help some people. And that is what I wanted to say about the detractor style videos. But there's also some news that we can diversify this podcast with. And yes. I'm going to try and make this a challenge and get as many of them as I can within 1 minute. And let me just time myself real quick. And I'll try to get as many as possible within a minute. So we can show a certain person that we can also read Twitter news real fast. All right? This 0.0. Let's go. Number 1. Real Madrid won the Champions League against Liverpool. That was their 14th Champions League. That's awesome. Celtics and the Heat play Game 7 tonight. Winner goes against Golden State in the NBA Finals for the championship. Top Gun Maverick tops the box office with 150 million. Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. Prayer hands in chat for Ray Liotta. He died, passed away. Unfortunately, he was a star of Goodfellas and a lot more. Obi-Wan Kenobi debuts 2 episodes to good fan reception and a great reception by critics. Kevin Spacey facing 4 sex assault charges. In other news, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is coming out this year. EA unveiled the Jedi Fallen Order sequel, Jedi Survivor. And this is coming in 2023, and Elden Ring has a co-op mod that you can play, and it's playable, and it's in beta. All right, that's it. 55 seconds.
Not bad, my friend. That was a lot of news. Anything you want to hit on there, Sam?
A couple of things. I didn't watch the Champions League, but obviously that final is going to be remembered for everything that happened outside of it. And secondly, I've only heard bad things about Obi-Wan, but then I think that's because of the certain people that I follow on Twitter. I've seen some funny stuff about the first episode in particular. But yeah, I haven't watched it myself yet.
I'm just on Star Wars burnout. It seems like every movie coming out is tied with Star Wars or something. So it's fine, but not for me. But
it looks like they have a series coming up with almost every side character that they've ever had.
That's
And
like,
it's like I just don't. I don't care right now.
It's
Maybe
just
I'll
like
come back in 5 years, watch everything, but
it's just like squeeze in
Right now, just not
squeeze
really.
in the license as much as possible. Get all the possible dollars out of it. And like someone else we know who does that with their fans, apparently. But Sam, what do you want to talk about this week? Any notes or anything you want to talk about?
Well, firstly, I just wanted to quickly squeeze in that I wanted to follow on from last week where we were talking about the nothing off the table fantasy. And I wanted to elaborate on mine and say, how about Phil's day off? Now, hear me out. Phil's day off live.
Okay.
yay! That sounds great.
Definitely, I'm down.
There we go. Other than that, moment of the week for me, I just wanted to read this out, and you can see this on an Ann clip, but I just wanted to read the transcript because I just thought the way it read was hilarious. This was a couple of nights ago before he'd played a certain game, but I'll just read it. It is what it is, man. All right, so Sniper Elite 5, I'm done with it. But I hope that you guys at least enjoyed the gameplay I put out there of it to get a taste of what it was. I do want to say thank you to those who did attend and support today's stream, regardless of the fact that the game was pretty boring. Thanks for chilling with me, guys. Okay, thank you. Then he stops recording. Oh, what a disappointment, guys. Seriously? You know what? I really hope that Pac-Man collection coming out on... I'm going to play Saturday. It comes out tomorrow, but I'm going to play Saturday. I certainly hope that it's not a disappointment like this, man. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man Collection, the critically acclaimed AAA release of the year.
And that's
Game of the Year contender.
I think someone needs to make a video of the YouTube mode turn off, and then the what happens right after that is always fascinating. And it's 99% of the times it's a sigh. That's really it. Like that's 99% of the times it's a sigh. I could go back and check it, but it always starts with, well, that was it, guys. And he has to be kind of positive on YouTube. Like he's like, all right, that was okay. Thanks for everyone to subscribe. Thanks for everyone to check that out. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. And then it just instantly switches, and he has to do the sigh, like, oh, guys, don't think it was too good, okay? Don't get your hopes up too much. That was not that good. He has to keep that negativity train rolling. It's so crazy.
I get that. I know that there's a difference between the personality in the YouTube videos and in the streams, but why does it have to be this obvious every time the mask falls off? It's just like a completely different character. It's so bizarre.
It's brilliant. Yeah, I did watch the Belch brief, by the way, but thankfully Meerkat skipped over it, that little section, and I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah. I guess for my quick point, I want to say King Jad, obviously Meerkat mentioned to do a charity stream on May 30th to check that out, but he dropped a video, I think it's a day after we had the show last week, about what a cult is. And it was really interesting, really cool. King Jad's always puts out good stuff. And it was just, he just text to chat, just all his thoughts and text to chat. I like his voice, actually, so I wish he didn't do that. But anyways, it's just the idea of what a cult is, like going through the definitions. And it's really scary. I mean, there's some parts, like I watched Phil this week more because the show happened. I was kind of like trying to get back in the feeling of the show, Phil, But it really was like, wow, it is. I mean, there's an outside world that everyone else that's not here watching or donating isn't a part of. And then there's my world, where our world, he always calls it we. And it's really is a lot of things are just really comparable to that. And I don't think Phil knows that or feels like actively trying to be a cult, but if you compare it like that, it really does work out. And it does sound like a cult in a lot of different ways. So go check out the video if you can. I'll post it right now, and I'll put it in the thing in the chat as well. Don't watch it now, but of course watch after the show. But it's really good watching it. It's very interesting. Anyone have anything to say about that before we get to our next segment here?
I saw that video. I thought it was great as well. And I do think there are a lot of points that are comparable to actual cults. And I don't think he does it on purpose, but I think he somehow ends up doing it and it works for him. So he just keeps doing it. Mm-hmm. It's us and it's them. And it's all this, if you don't believe me, you can go and watch their toxic shit. But don't ask any questions. Don't question anything that I do. You just got to believe me, man. You just got to like me as a person.
Yep.
Yeah. And
that sounds like Phil.
That is Phil. But when you compare him to an actual cult leader that is charismatic and intelligent and really sociable, like a David Koresh from Waco, or L. Ron Hubbard from fucking Scientology, it just kind of falls apart. He looks nothing like them in comparison. And that's why he's stuck with a fan base of like, what, 200 to 500 people that believe this shit?
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people who don't believe and just watch this to laugh at him.
Yeah. And he really treats it like, if you want to be a part of this, there's something you have to give as well, right? I mean, that's the difference of Phil and most content creators. Like, oh, you guys are with us. It's all positive. Thanks so much for giving me your time, right? Like, everyone watching us show today, thanks so much for being here. You're giving us your time. Want to spend time with us? Awesome. But Phil has this natural, you have to give me something too, right? If you want to be a part of this cool team, there's something you got to give, you know? And that's really what a cult does as well. Like, there's kind of barriers to get in the cult. Not everyone can be a part of this team. And in this instance, in Phil's instance, is you got to donate to be a part of the team, right? You got to believe what I say. And it really is interesting. So go check out the video out. Before we get to our, other nonsense we're going to talk about today, I got a little quiz for you guys and chat, of course, as well, that I think is really cool. Put it together this week. It's going to be really fast, but really cool. Don't cheat. If anyone cheats in the chat, you're going to get the lean in manual. You know what I'm saying? So just be cool, play along, and don't cheat, because this is cheatable, but don't cheat it. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 words or phrases, and you're going to tell me what has Phil said the most over his career as a content creator. All right? Ooh, that's your job. Okay. So, of course, using the great piggo.net. What a resource that is. But here we go. This is the short phrase category. What has Phil said more? Here are the choices. That being said, the name of this podcast, content creator, I would argue, or the business. Okay? Which has Phil said the most? I'll start with you, Meerkat. You can guess here.
Probably I would argue, but maybe the business, because it's a more kind of it's a shorter phrase that he can use in different contexts.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm on the business.
Okay, Meerkat says business. Sam?
Yeah, I was leaning towards the business as well, just for that reason. But just to be different, I'll go for that being said. Why not?
I was shocked. You are right, Sam. It was that being said. I wouldn't have guessed that for sure, but that shows how much he uses that phrase. 3,750 times. Wow. That being said has been announced by DSP. Next, different ways to say tip. That's the category here. Different ways to say tip. Which was he said more? Contributions.
I love this.
Tips. Support. Or donation. Sam, start with you this time.
What were the 4 again? Sorry.
Contributions, tips,
right,
support, or donation. Donations, excuse me.
Support.
All right. Sam says support. Meerkat, it's okay to say the same thing.
I'm going with support as well. Yeah, there's no way it's not support. Because he's been needing support since he's been on the internet.
Yeah.
Definitely. You guys are right. Support is 30,005 times support has came out. I was surprised to know donations only 518, but that's probably why, because it's not a donation, it's a tip. Remember?
Not a donation.
So that was only 518 times. But here we go. Single word category, almost done. Single words. Playthrough, content, upload, or copyright. Okay. Playthrough, content, upload, or copyright. Meerkat, you go ahead.
Content.
Content from Meerkat. Sam?
I'll go playthrough.
All right, you guys both got 1 and 2. Content was 1, 33,000. Playthrough was 26,000. So there you go. And last one, People Edition, which I think is the most interesting one. People. The words John Rambo, those two together, John Rambo, Leanna, Howard, or PewDiePie.
Whoa, okay.
All right, so I think, Sam, it's your turn to answer first, I believe.
Oh, this is interesting. I'm gonna say Leanna.
All right, Sam breaks dice with Leanna. Meerkat.
All right, I'm gonna try and put some logic and method of exclusion, I guess, to it.
Yep.
Because PigGo collects pretty recent entries from like 2016 onwards or whatever. So I would say it might be PewDiePie.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, the correct answer, surprising to me, was the correct answer is John Rambo, actually.
Wow.
And I'm guessing
Still
because
the soulmate.
yeah, I'm guessing maybe because they played together. He said, well, he would never call John Rambo though, unless he's talking in the past about it. Like John Rambo was this guy, John Rambo was that. But John Rambo killed it more than double the number 2 option, which was not Leanna, which was not PewDiePie, which was Howard. It was this number 2 option. So that was shocking.
Wow.
This was the most shocking one for me. I was like, it has to be Leanna, I thought. But he says Panda Lee. I searched for Panda Lee. He kind of goes between Panda Lee and Leanna, so maybe that hurt her chances as well. But there you go. James' quiz is done for this week. I'll try to think of something interesting next week, a little bit different. But that was it. Now we can break down some of the main discussion here, the stuff that happened this week. So Meerkat, a lot of things happened. I'll throw it to you. What do you want to talk about first that happened this week?
Let's kick it off with the OBS incompetence, because I think all 3 of us have a lot to bring to the table to this. And go through this real quick. Or not real quick, I don't know.
Yeah.
And go through this, and then we'll see for the other ones. For the more important ones, the high-profile ones, we're gonna keep the listeners waiting.
Okay,
we're
go
gonna
ahead.
waste their time. Okay, so DSP's OBS, he decided to update it. It was malfunctioning, as in he didn't get pop-ups for tips, contributions of any kind.
Yep.
And he made this a whole ass segment. He had a couple of options to choose from, which was reinstalling the whole OBS and deleting stuff and all this like radical shit. And of course, in the end, he fixed it in a super simple way. He just turned off the hardware acceleration, which is with many different types of softwares could cause an issue a lot of the times. And a lot of issues are caused by disabling it. It works this way in Photoshop. I think even might work this way in Discord as well. So his massive drama and being completely incapable of figure out the software that makes him the money that he brings to his household was kind of for nothing and got fixed in a couple minutes. But I want to hear from you guys as people who know how to use OBS, and it's not super complicated. For somebody who's used it as much as he has, how bad do you think he is?
Go ahead, Sam.
Wow. Well, this is my area, to be honest, and it's the sort of thing that does get me a little bit annoyed, shall we say? And as some of you may know, I can talk to pedantic lengths about some of his methodology and things like that, and just the fact that this is the tool. Essentially, this is his the thing that allows him to do what he does, and he doesn't know how to do the simplest things with it. He referred to having to reinstall it as having to rebuild, and what could he, how many scenes does he have really, and how many things within those scenes? Because really, what have we got? We've got a webcam, we've got, a slideshow, we've got the gameplay. Is that it? And then there's the pop-ups and stuff like that, but that's just a browser source. So at most he's got maybe 5 or 6 things happening on screen in his sources menu, and that's about it. And that's 5 minutes at most for a setup like that, where you've got there's no intricacy there. It's just the bare minimum. Even going into the audio side as well, I know for a fact that he doesn't have any compressors, noise reduction, anything like that. It's just as it is. It's just the part of the course. It is just the bare
It's
minimum.
raw, just the raw feel. That's it is.
Like he always, that's the classic Phil, is making everything seem like because he wants us to think it's a full-time job, and it's really a difficult kind of job, right? He always has to keep that allure there, right? So like this goes way back to the past of like, I used to set up PCs myself, and it's really difficult. He made it seem like the hardest job of all time to set up your own PC, right? Like, oh my God, this is incredible. I can't believe how long, you have to select the RAM, you have to select the graphics card, you have to put it all together, and he acts like it's a whole weekend kind of thing, And it's just the future form of that, right? It's just like, okay, to set up a stream, as you guys know, once you set it up, you're done, right? And he always says this. Okay, this is my busy day. Well, I got to go. The new thing is I got to exercise. Or no, work out. Excuse me, work out. I need to work out, and that's, a short walk for him. That's a big deal. I need to set up the stream. He always adds that in there. Set up the stream, and that's like a whole thing. And it's all a part of making it seem like it's all more work than it is. That's what I think. But Meerkat, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, of course, I think when he asks for this amount of money from people, he needs to justify it as doing a lot of work. But anybody who works like a 9-to-5 job and has a family or does other stuff like grocery shopping would know that this is not something that you should complain about. And he, of course, with this OBS shit, it exposes the fact that he's a boomer. He doesn't understand technology or what even updating a program does, and that it's good for you and you should do it. And when you update something, it's going to give you new features that you can use. And he also tries to overcomplicate it, like you said, to make people actually buy into this bullshit that he works a 6-day week every day full time and has time for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, and at the end though, let's be real. Why he's doing this is he wants a new computer. You know, he's working his little tendrils into saying, if I had a new computer, there'd be no problem. That's what I think. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that. You know,
100%.
That has to be the case now. I think he's laying the foundations for that. Well, he has been for a while now, and I think this was a nice, convenient little way of doing that. To be honest.
Yeah.
And I think in this same clip where he was talking about the OBS stuff, later on in that video, he started begging for PC. And what he likes to do is do this shit where, do this shit when he's setting up for the future and he tries to promise you so many things. Man, if only he could get a PC, the next goal would be a green screen and an amazing camera and studio lights and shit like this. He's been doing this from way back in the day, even before he moved to Washington. This was one of his main selling points, that he would get an office with a green screen and this and this and this. But as long and the moment when he hits that goal for a PC and what he wanted to happen happens, he has no motivation to keep improving all that shit. And all of that will be forgotten in the future with the green screen and the HD camera as soon as he gets his PC.
Yeah, and then nothing ever changes in that case. You know, it's just always the next thing, as you know. One other thing we should talk about this week, obviously, if you're okay with that topic being done, I will talk about happened earlier in the week. I'm going to go to the Keemstar thing first, I think, and I can play that for you, so I think I'm going to try to do that here. Let's watch a short video here of, this is from King Jad, aforementioned King Jad, star of the show this week, it seems. King Jad had a great video about it, really short video. Let's listen to that real quick.
Star tweets DSP. Just now Jean blocked me. They call DSP. DM, I have a business proposition for you. DSP responds, we have to do this again. If you have a business proposition, you need to reach out to me in one of the many public ways I have to be contacted, DM, email, etc. This is common sense and tons of people have done it. Thanks, Keem. Keem responds again, you're literally communicating with me right now. Just DM me so we can have a private conversation. Why would anyone have to email you? That's just weird and unnecessary. DSP again comes back. Can you tell me why someone who is initiating some kind of business expects someone else to DM them? This is like step one of any interaction. Or you can just say here publicly whatever it is you want to talk about since you decided to start the convo this way. So Keem just goes all in here and says, listen, moron, if you don't respond to my DMs, if you don't respond in my DMs in the next 60 minutes, you're not going to get his guaranteed $50,000 sign-on bonus. I'm not playing any more games. And of course, immediately, update, he DM'd me. Absolutely incredible. So the time of that was 8:30 and the time of him 7:58. So it was like literally just over 30 minutes later, Keem confirmed that Phil actually DM'd him. So Phil went from being disappointed that he's the only person to not be a sellout to immediately jumping on a chance to sell out as Keem dangled the bait right in front of his greedy little snout. Phil, there's nothing wrong with what Max did. Your fake moral high ground is built in quicksand because your ass sank through that as fast as fuck, boy. This has been King Jad.
Awesome video there by King Jad there, pointing it out exactly that it just, Phil was so against it, as he always is, with, why don't you DM me first? Why do I have to take any steps? And then when that 50K came out, it was like, all right, I'm cool. Never mind. Hello, what's up? That's just funny.
I would love to know what was said there. I guess we may know one day, but yeah, that'd be very interesting.
I mean, it has to be a boxing thing, right? Or some kind of thing like that, right? What else can it be? I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's mentioned it, hasn't he? I'm not the most up to date with all of this, but I've heard boxing being mentioned. Can you imagine DSP doing that? Really?
I would pay some money. I would pay for that. Whatever it's called, the what do you call this? Pay-per-views for sure. I mean, that'd be pretty crazy. But Meerkat, what are your thoughts on this?
I would still probably watch the pay-per-view on a illegal stream because fuck those pay-per-views. I ain't paying money for that. But the 50K I think is very important as a figure because the 50K is the sign-on bonus. So this is the bonus that he's gonna get when he signs the contract. So potentially for him there is, let's say, 2 to 3 times more than this in the offer that Keemstar had. But seeing the way that DSP kind of approached this, I would assume that he denied as soon as he heard the offer. And as I was lurking Keemstar's Twitter feed and I checked out his channel to see if there's any breadcrumbs maybe to a fight or whatever he's organizing, I saw that Jake Paul is having a fight on August 13th, which I would assume if they would start setting stuff up, now is a pretty good time to hit people up with offers and stuff. So potentially it could be this. And also, talking about a fight, it's not out of question that DSP is not even going to fight, but commentate. Because we've seen him in the FGC. He's been a commentator for some matches and stuff. And I don't think it's a crazy idea for them to invite him as a commentator.
That would be interesting. Yeah. We've seen Phil fail at commentating fighting game stuff before. There's a famous video.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it's not ready. I don't have it ready, but there's one where he's like, it's like one of the first times he ever did it. And the other guy's like, "Dude, you can't keep talking over me. We have to take turns here." You ever seen that one? It's really funny.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Yeah. One thing to mention, I think a few months ago, obviously we had the whole Keemstar DSP back and forth then about, basically the same thing. Yeah. And it seemed at the time that he was trying to figure out some sort of DSP wings, whoever the other guy was, and some sort of interview or whatever. Yeah. But now I think that sort of thing, it's not going to pull the crowds in because he started doing the React stuff. He's kind of almost, the interest kind of died down in what he thinks of other lolcows, So I think now he has to go bigger with a boxing match or whatever it is.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's probably true. He's kind of taking himself into the world, the crazy world that he was I'm not a part of that at all. And all of a sudden now he's like, whether he feels like he has to do it because of money or for some other reason, now he's like all in, in this kind of React videos and like, Wings stuff. I'm a part of, I'm in the same universe as Wings when that was before was like, get the hell out of here. I have nothing like him. Nothing, to do with me. But now it's like, okay, I'm going to do content about it because I like money. So it's just how quickly Phil's, allegiances or mental right or wrong changes on the case of money, but we've seen that many cases like that. Also, I should have played this first. I realize this now. What a failure as a host. In the same vein, Maximilian Dude, Phil trashed him. I want to play this video as well. This happened before the Keemstar, which is why King Jad said, this happened right after you said Maximilian was well, I'll let Phil talk. So let's watch this for a little bit, few minutes here of how Phil was talking about Maximilian Dude, which is another YouTuber that's been around for a long time. So take a listen to this real quick.
Videos and yes, with their social media posts. And it has become uncertain at this point. The line has been blurred between what is actually a real testimonial and what's an advertisement. I'm going to give you a perfect example of this last night. Okay? Last night, I was just searching Twitter for news stories to talk about this morning. And I saw a tweet from Maximilian Dude. Now, to preface this, all right? I like Maximilian Dude as a content creator. I feel that this guy makes quality content, and the vast majority of stuff he's done over the years is very smart. He makes high quality edited stuff, and for the most part, I respect the guy for who he is and what he does. Doesn't seem like a scumbag like a lot of other people. Seems like a genuinely good dude, all right? That's my perspective on it. Put up a tweet. A paid advertisement for Multiverses. the new game coming out later this year that's supposed to be a kind of a Smash Brothers style game, only it features all these characters from the Warner Brothers franchises. For example, Batman and Superman from DC Comics facing off against Looney Tunes characters like Bugs Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil, facing off against Steven Universe characters, facing off against Adventure Time characters. You see what I'm saying? Scooby-Doo. Interesting game. Premise. People are getting into a closed beta, meaning it's not open for everyone to play. Only certain people were selected to play it. Well, guess what? Maximilian Dude was contacted by the company making the game. They offered him a lucrative contract to do this, and he's doing ad placements for it. All right? So I'm looking through my Twitter feed looking for legit news, and I'm like, oh, here's a tweet. Maximilian Dude, he plays all these fighting games, and he's actually saying the game looks interesting to him. He says it. He's like, oh, this interested me in the game. I'm like, oh, wow. So an actual guy in the FGC is liking this game. This could be good news, and I could talk about this on my podcast tomorrow and cover it as a news story. Except at the end of his tweet, he said hashtag ad. Now, listen. He did the right thing. He labeled it as an ad. But I hate this. I'm going to be honest. I looked at that, and that pissed me off. When I see people do this, I tend to block them. All right? If you're going to post something on your social media, and you're going to have a testimonial, oh, this is good, I believe you. I'm not reading the entirety of the body of what you're posting to see that at the tail end of it you put hashtag ad, and now I have to understand literally that's a paid advertisement. It's bullshit. You can't believe anything in that post because it's fucking paid for. I hate that shit. And you will not see me do that on my social media or anywhere else because I refuse to have my content tainted for a paid advertisement.
All right, I'll stop it there because you could just keep going how ridiculous it is. But my favorite part is I will never do that like he could do that, right? Like there's an option. And when he could do that, he did do that. Remember the chair nonsense and stuff?
Oh, he did do that in excess. He shilled a fucking beanbag. He shilled loot crates and was opening them, and he was pulling out trash. And he was saying, oh my god, this might be useful someday for this shitty fucking purpose. And all that shit was garbage. And he was still shilling it so hard.
Yeah.
Because they used to give him like a discount or whatever. Imagine. This is, I hate this segment. Sorry if I'm being too toxic. I absolutely despise this kind of segment. Especially from a guy who, first of all, he doesn't get any of the opportunities not because of fucking trolls, but because his name is tarnished forever and he's associated with trash gameplays and jerking off on stream.
Yep.
He doesn't get these opportunities because he doesn't have connections to anybody. Nobody wants to work with him.
Yeah. And that's why he's saying this now. When he could do that kind of stuff, he was so eager to do it. And like you said, those stupid loot boxes, those are the fucking worst. He made a video about it every month. And like they give you all this nonsense like shot glass coaster or something in the face of like, I don't know, some guy, Lord of the Rings thing. And it's like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Like just come on, But I don't know. What are your thoughts, Sam?
Well, for me, it's the interesting thing about it is it couldn't or wouldn't, because he seems to go between them when it's when it suits. To be honest, he one minute he's woe is me, they'll never want to be involved with me because I am because of the trolls and I am who I am and blah blah blah, and then in the same breath it's I would never do this because I'm a legitimate gamer and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make your mind up.
I just fucked up the camera, so I gotta switch here.
Go
ahead.
Something else that he does is he uses the fact that he can't get any sponsorships, nobody wants to associate with him for business. He uses as a badge of honor. Man, my name is so dragged through the mud and my reputation is so bad that nobody's gonna work for me. That's why I want money from you guys, the people who are supposed to get only exclusively entertainment from this. I should burden you with my life story and with the fact that I decided to do this for a business and I didn't check if it was viable enough or if I could keep doing it as a business. And now we bought in. So now we should fund his whole life going on.
Yeah, it's really, really just rewriting history, right? I mean, now it's saying like I would never do this. I've never done this. Like, come on, man, you've done this so many fucking times, and it's really just to keep up what he has to keep up is the woe is me, right? Because that's what the business is right now. Let's get real. It is woe is me, and everyone's against us, like the cult thing we talked about earlier. Everyone's against us. Everyone. No one can do this, and he's making fun of someone else, like this dude that's been in the fighting game community forever. Huge name in the fighting game community, and it's just runs an ad, and he's like just bullshitting on it because let's be real, he's just jealous that he can't do that, and he's gonna let us know he can't do that, and the reason he can't do it is because of people like us, the detractors that are ruining his life. When really, it's another thing, bigger topic. I don't think I'm that much of a detractor. I just say facts of what happened this week that Phil did. That's I'm telling you what you did this week. That's what I think our show is doing right now. Are we saying we're not saying anything? Some people make fun of Phil's looks and everything. And that's whatever. I don't do it myself, but some people do that, and that's fine. But really, what we do in the show is talking about what Phil did this week, right? And if that's bad, then that's bad. But that's what we're doing, and we should talk about. I'm sure we're going to talk about the 2 week to transition here. But guys, please don't troll me for 2 weeks thing, which happened this week as well. And it just, what was the reasoning again? I didn't quite get the reason. Because it's really important because things are slow, or what was that?
I think it's a buildup of all the Reddit stuff, which
Okay.
I think it's on the plate for tonight. I think.
Yeah.
It's from all the Reddit stuff, the slow days, the dedicated begging videos, all that shit. I think it's a climax of this. Is just he gets too much coming at him at the same time, and at the same time it doesn't translate into revenue. All this trolling and all this drama doesn't translate into money, so he just wants to take it easy for a bit. And of course play victim, because he knows people are not gonna fucking leave him for 2 months. This is absurd.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
yeah, that's really what it is. Sam?
Yeah, I think he's been faced with a lot of truth coming at him all at once, and he doesn't like what he sees, I guess. And but it's complete nonsense. I mean, and the other thing is as well, even if that did happen, which I think would be another interesting thing to happen. It was like I've said before, when he did his first React video, I would have been fascinated to see if no one restreamed, no one did any troll tipping. Would he have been disappointed?
Mm-hmm.
He wants a reaction, really. He wants people to react to him, whether it's negative or positive, despite what he says, I guess.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I would be fascinated to see what would happen if there was no attention on him for a couple of weeks, because I think, honestly, he'd miss it, and I think you would. Surely you'd be used to it by now, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, no one's looking at me anymore. You gotta be. Yeah, that would be concerning, I think.
I agree with you. I think he enjoys the fact that knowing that at any point, if, for example, 200 people are watching him, then 200 people are bound to be watching one of the restreams, or just be spread around. And he enjoys the fact that he has double the audience that he allegedly has because of all these people. But of course, he shouldn't forget the fact that those people don't actually like him.
Yeah.
And most of them will not translate into money. And at best, they could translate into publicity, I guess. And just people talking about him, which keeps him afloat, which keeps people talking about him. And it's a vicious cycle of content generation and content catalysm. That's the word? Content catalyst. That's the guy. Shout out to Shinko.
Yeah. It's without people that are talking about Phil, I mean, he would have been a long time gone, I think. I mean, that's really what's keeping him afloat now, this kind of drama that he can lean on. Because if without people like us that, again, he uses words like create drama or say stuff, but really we're just saying what happened, things that happened at that time, he could have nothing to fight against, right? There would be no one for that. If you do think that Phil is kind of cult-ish, right? As we talked about earlier, that there would be no one, there's no other team, right? There's no, us against who, right? If he doesn't have that us against who, then he's kind of messed up, right? So he needs it, right? So, and I would have put this challenge out, Phil, not that you're listening to our show or whatever, but if you can, I'm not asking you not to beg. I know some people are saying don't beg for 2 weeks and stuff. That's just too big of an ask, right? Let's get real. That's not going to happen. What I would do, what I want to request is you don't use the word slow for 2 weeks, right? If you don't use the word slow for 2 weeks, then we'll again, we're not trolling. We're talking about what happened this week, but I would consider the idea of doing it if you can't use the word slow, right? And you can't use any word that's like that either. Let's get smart. You can't say like things are not as good as they could be or something like that. Just you can't use the word slow because that is probably the word he uses the most in his vocabulary, other than the obvious, let's say, family, day off, Jasper, all these things. He says slow more than anyone else in the universe because that's his favorite word to drum up some donations, right? I mean, let's get real. He says slow all the time, right? So that's what I'm asking, Phil. Not that you're listening. Let's have a no slow challenge, right? And if you do that, we'll take 2 weeks off. What do you say, Meerkat? You down with that?
Look, I think you're being far too generous for him. I think he should, if he claims to be like other streamers and wants to be the regular streamer, then just be like them. Shut up about money. Don't imply that today's been not to your standards, money-wise. Yeah. Don't imply that you want more. Don't tweet out for more. Don't post community posts for more. Don't beg in the daily rap, whatever nonsense he does. Don't imply or talk about your financial situation and nothing about it. Just be like normal people. Show up on stream, do the stupid podcast, talk about stupid news, do the plugs in a reasonable way where you just let people know that these ways of supporting the channel are available. That's it, period. We start playing games, we play games, that's it. Daily rap, you can still do that bullshit. Talk about the games you played. I don't know, stroke your own ego for how well you played them and how much you enjoyed them, and that's it. Just be like a normal streamer. I don't know why we're holding him to this tiny standard of don't beg. Don't beg should be the default. If he wants to claim that he's the normal guy. And I know it's his business, but it's many people's businesses. And they don't have to bring it up. They just have to work harder and learn more stuff and make better content. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, remember how he says that everyone else does this, remember? Everyone does this. Everyone plugs
Everyone
stuff.
begs.
Yeah. Everyone does this. Yeah. But, we're all just saying stuff that's not going to happen. So, I mean, it's just a fun little mental exercise because let's get real. It's not going to happen in any possible way. The show doesn't work without begging, right? Let's get real. His show does not work without begging.
But at the same time, you don't have to be a shill to be what he wants to be. He always goes on about, organic growth. And how could that ever happen if, a massive percentile of the stuff that you put out is that, what do you think people are gonna fall in love with you when they click on a video and it's you asking for money directly? Just stop doing that bit at the very least, and
well, we did.
People will like you a little bit more.
Well, we do have a little bit of what happens when, let's say, normal people not in Phil's universe see what he does, and that happened on Reddit this week. And it was bad, as it always, just because for a second, like us three and everyone in the chat right now is kind of in the universe of we know what Phil is, what Phil does. But if you break out of that for a second, you see how crazy it is and how crazy other people see that, right? And that's, again, Phil's job of encompassing everyone in this little world, right? But like, oh my God. I mean, and what everyone said was 100% correct. Like, perfect. This is crazy. Guy just got $400 and he's saying how this is the long-term thing, right? That's the kind of the theme of this show for the long-term support. It's just so not normal, right? And it's kind of gotten normal. And for his fans, it is normal, right? It is normal now. Let's say he makes it normal. But if you think about how ridiculous it sounds for a second, break out of the Phil universe, everyone in the chat here, and you three. Think about it. You two. Think about it. It's crazy to think about that. You guys have supported me amazingly. All these gifted subs. I'm sure it was one person, but whatever. You get a lot of money. And it's no other business in the universe works like this, where that's long term. I need my favorite quote of the whole week was, tips are the liquidity of my business.
The liquidity, yes. I love this. Businessman Phil with the business degree.
Hey,
the business
he can use that word better than you. He has a business degree. Come on.
Oh, the liquidity.
That's not how any business operates. And especially they don't tell customers that. That's the next level of crazy, is you don't tell your customers about Oh, thanks. Netflix doesn't say, hey, thanks for your subscription. But if you sign up for Netflix Plus or whatever, that's real liquidity for our business. So we would like if you to sign that. Like, imagine if they did that, right? Amazon said, hey, Amazon Prime, that's awesome. That's long-term support. We're looking for liquidity of business. So could you please buy something now? It's just so insane. You can't think about it. This is, I got so pissed. This week, like I said, this show has kind of gotten me back into Phil. I know I'm talking too long. Sorry, guys. But it got me back into kind of Phil world. And I got, a few times I got so kind of, I did get, like we said last night, I never get pissed at Phil because whatever. But I did get pissed because real fans gave money to him at points, right? And when Phil did all this nonsense of, hey, I really things are tough. I need your help. Two slow days in a row. This one dude, specifically, I forget your name, he gave $30. And Phil turned that $30 positive that put him over the $50 goal. He instantly switched to, hey, now we're $47 away from our tier 2 goal. It's like, what the fuck, man? That dude was trying to feel good about his $30 donation, and then you just killed it instantly. And that's when I got pissed because that dude, whatever mental thing that guy's going on, you know, he likes Phil, whatever. All right. That's cool. It's not cool, but whatever. And he felt good about that $30 given to Phil, and Phil just killed it. And that pissed me off this week. Sorry for talking so long, but that really pissed me off. And it's like, man, this is not right what Phil does and sometimes. And that was not right. But I'm done. Rant over.
You can, if any other streamer, anyone but the big guys, if someone gives them $30, they'll be screaming. There'll be things going off on the stream. Everyone will be going crazy in the chat, and it's just a massive moment. But for Phil, it's just, okay, well, $30, but where's the rest of it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's liquidity in that he pisses it up the wall.
That's the liquid part.
One thing that you reminded me that really irritates me about him is he's going to read a shout out and then he's going to say, but guys, this $30, it was just from one guy. We need more support. We need to diversify the fucking support. And then it's just like this pity party segment. It's so terrible. And there was something also that you said earlier that Sam reminded me of when he was reading that quote, that excerpt from the transcript, and I listened to Sam read it, and I'm like, man, this sounds bizarre. And then I imagine DSP reading it, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's just another begging segment. It's just like nothing.
Yeah.
So like you said, when you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, it's so fucking bizarre that this guy is doing this and just perfectly getting away with it every fucking day. It's incredible.
Yeah, like if you step away for a second and just think about it. Think about how the ridiculousness of what is going on here. But it's not going to, if it's not going to stop because it works, right? And that's the bottom line is all these shows people make about Phil and all this stuff is ridiculous and stuff. It's not going to stop until his fans realize that, and they clearly are okay with this, right? That's in the end of the day. How do you choose what you like, or how do you show what you like or don't like? You pay with your wallet, right? You rate things with your wallet, right? And enough people are still, for some reason, deciding to give Phil the money, right? And that's not. There's no end in sight for that. You know what I mean? Even though he did have a slow week this week, but I saw Piece of Pieces tracking, and it wasn't even that low. But again, it's about keeping that facade up to get people, encouraged or buying in. My favorite word, buy in for these things, and it's not going to stop. It's crazy. It was a crazy week for me. Go ahead.
I don't know how he can get away with saying shit like buy in. Because when you say shit like buy in for other people buying into your project, that means once they buy in, they're locked in and they're engaged in the project. So let's say it's a playthrough and people have bought into it or voted for it or whatever. Now they're not really allowed to not pay money anymore. They need to keep funding the playthrough after they've bought in. Otherwise, they disappointed Kim because they bought in already. It's ridiculous for him to be using terms like that, and especially to elite business like that. It's exploitative of people that like him.
Yes. Liquidity was the best phrase. Oh my god, liquidity,
man.
Liquidity of the business was awesome. Hey Andrew, thanks for coming to the stream. Oh guys, remember, I hate to say this, we've been streaming for 50 minutes now. Likes are not to 100. Come on, guys, it really could help us out. Appreciate you for being here, but really could use that. Those likes, they're long-term support. We could use some kind of current support by subscribing and everything. Come on, guys. But yeah, that was just that was kind of the, and we kind of sideways talked about it, but we did get a dedicated extra large, extra special begging video from Phil this week. Kind of tight on time, so I'm not going to play it all. But needless to say, we've seen many of these in the past. This is a classic. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But these, I looked at the numbers, right? He's done 6 of these this year. 6 of these. So that's almost, more than once a month right now, almost once a month. And it's really interesting how, I guess that's what he feels. This is my theory. I think he does those because he wants to appear to be doing everything he can to help the business. Like, I'm a hardworking dude. What can I do? And I really think he thinks this is his way of like stepping up, right? Because he can't he can never work extra hours, right? That's just unheard of, right? Whoa, no way. I can't do that. So what can he do? He can make an extra begging video. And I think this is when he thinks he needs to step it up. This is him stepping up. But anyone have any thoughts on that? The dedicated beggament video we got this week.
Sam, you want to go first?
I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. I mean, I should be more outraged about something like this, because could you imagine anyone else doing this, saying, I need more money, and not giving them a reason, really, outside of just that I need more money? It's not like, he uses the term crowdfunding a lot.
Yeah,
and,
I'm a crowdfunded individual.
Funding? Yeah, what are we funding here? That's what gets me. If it was a legitimate goal of something, where I truly believed that this money was going to go to, say, a green screen, a new PC, something like that, then fair enough. But it's just another day, isn't it? It's just the same stuff every day.
Yeah, it's just pocket money. That's all he wants is pocket money allowance, the daily paycheck. It's ridiculous. This is the only guy that I know that has a daily paycheck and a monthly one from YouTube, and he still can't get by with his insane business. And also, there was something interesting that he said in this begging video, is that there's something behind the scenes that he hasn't talked about.
Oh, yeah.
That is really concerning about money, which probably Kat is not employed anymore. She's not the second income anymore, as he likes to call her. So this was one of the points that he used to beg. And I guess generally, I think he was like holding the carrot on that stick with the PC and all that equipment and all those fantasies that are not going to happen. Of course, the PC is going to happen, but all that stuff after that is probably going to get drawn into like 2025 or some shit like that.
I think, I don't think it's Kat lost her job. I don't like to, hypothesize about the dude's family, as it were, or wife, but I don't think it's that, because that's so easy to say, right? It's not like a big, what can trolls do with that, right? Like, I don't know. That's not like I don't see how that's a negative thing that you can't share now for the support you would get from that, right? Because that would make some people say, like, okay, I'll help out. But I don't think it's that. But you did right. He did have that. Something's happening behind the scenes, planting the seed of disaster, and then we'll get disaster stream coming up. So maybe he is working on his next disaster, which that wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I don't think it's she lost her job or anything, or maybe she quit. Well, maybe she quit. I mean, how much could her income really be helped? I guess if things are as tight as he says they are, which, again, for any normal human being, they wouldn't be, but for him, they are. I guess maybe they do need her support somehow. But if you're Kat, what are you thinking? Like, Phil makes this much money, and I'm still having to work at this grocery store. Maybe she thinks it's fun, or whatever. A lot of people have jobs just because they're fun. That's cool. But man, that's got to be tough. And maybe she said, all right, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore. And then Phil has to make that into a new chance to give him money. But yeah, this Begman's video was pretty cool. It's not pretty cool. I say pretty amazing how every day becomes a slow day, except when it's not. But then he'll always find another reason to make it a slow. Then he'll make it a slow week. Okay, then it's not a slow week. All right, then it's a slow month. Okay, well, then the month wasn't slow. And then it's a slow season, right? There's low gaming season. Like, there's always a way to make it slow, he just elongates the time period. We talk about the Slack week, the micro, macro of Phil.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is, again, just another side of that, right? So this was the 3 days in a row. He got like 15 hours of stream or whatever. And that's, okay, that's, I like how Piece of Peace says BEGCON, the levels. Then it goes to BEGCON 4, BEGCON 3, BEGCON 2, BEGCON 1, BEGCON 0. There's always something, right? And that's Phil's magic power, I think, is that he could always make something. That is Phil's skill that maybe none of us could do. He could always make a disaster that needs a fire that needs to be putting out, and he will always make that happen. But I don't know. That was that was all my comments on the begging video. Anything else, Sam? Or go ahead, Meerkat.
Like you said, with the slow day turns into a slow week and a slow month, and in the end of the year, he does his stupid retrospective podcast talking about the whole year, and the year was great. It was great. He got a lot of support. He played a lot of amazing games. People came out in droves to support. The channel has skyrocketed to the moon, and all this fucking nonsense. And I'm like, dude, you were begging every day. You were posting tweets, whole dedicated videos about this. And now we changed the past just because at the moment things are okay, because the pay pigs kept paying up. It's ridiculous, man.
This is
it's the same as it's the same as when you just watch a random playthrough of his. You know, it's what the fuck? Did you see that? You know, or just dead air, and then you get to the review at the end of it, and it's like, this is one of my favorite games of the year. You know,
that's the best. That's the best.
Come on.
Fuck you. Developers of this game can suck my dick. I hate this shit. 9 out of 10. I really liked it. It was just cool.
It's a mixed bag. Come on. It's a 9.7. 7.3.
That's the best. God, someone needs to make a montage of those moments because that's really crazy. During the playthrough, the worst game of all time. Kojima can suck my dick. I wish he was never born. All right, 4.5 out of 5. Not bad, you know. But anyways,
it's a great game, and then it's on the worst games of the year list as well because of this and this reasons. Like Metal Gear MGS5, that was on best list in the worst list. And then when it was in the worst list, he said, "Oh yeah, it's still a masterpiece, but it's in the worst list." What the fuck are you actually talking about? Who are you trying to pander to? What is this nonsense?
I gotta see that. I never saw that.
This is on KO Gaming, my favorite channel ever. KO Gaming 1. Go look it up. It's a phenomenal channel.
Okay.
It has the best review of Homefront: The Revolution ever. He gets so fucking toxic in that review, it's impossible. Take him seriously.
Hello, everyone. DSP, KO Gaming here.
DSP here on behalf of KO Gaming is my favorite one. It's like somebody asked them, Phil, go introduce yourself on behalf of the company.
All right, we're having too much fun this one, but yeah, it's pretty bad. Also, when I was looking for my game today, you know, the phrases, I looked up successful business. And it's been said a few times. Actually, it's been said 4 times this year. Successful business.
Wow.
But he's also made 6 extra begging videos this year. So I don't know what the disconnect is there, but that's the thing. Again, Phil has recently said, I run a successful business. Recently, I think in the last 2 weeks, he said this is a successful business, but then it's not.
Oh, yeah. I think he said something along the lines that he's on track to being successful or something like that. Now he can't even say that he's a successful business because this is how full of shit this statement is. For him to say it's a successful business and then put out a important, I need your help once again video.
Yeah,
Come on.
He did there's been
now it's like
27 videos.
I'm just trying to be successful.
There's 27 videos or around there, I'm not sure, that have the important uppercase on his channel. 27. So they're pretty important. He's got a lot of important videos. When you have that many videos, I guess some are going to be more important than others. But
yeah.
All right. To close it out this week, we're almost to the hour thing. We do want to talk about, I believe, the Rambo and Howard React video is happening next Saturday. I believe, if my schedule is correct on film, which would mean that's going to happen before our next show. So I did want to get your guys' thoughts on what we can expect from that amazing React that's going to happen next weekend. I'll start with you, Sam.
I think we said it all last week, to be honest. We're going to get a lot of pre-rehearsed reactions, a lot of apologies out of nowhere that we've never heard before, and that's it really. The big thing to take away again, what's this now? The third reaction he's done so far. It's all scripted. It's all, you know. It's not a reaction. It's a live analysis / review. Not going to be all that, to be honest. It's not going to be the gold dust that we want it to be, and certainly not in the way that we want it to be anyway.
Yeah. I'll go next. Meerkat, you can close it out. I want to say that it's going to be. I really want to know how he prepares for this, like, because you know he is. So is he watching it and writing down stuff, or because you know he has to think, how am I going to spin this one, right? Okay, how do I spin this? And like some of the worst stuff you'll notice he doesn't even mention. Like I didn't hear that part. Like that's what he kind of pretends. Because I do want to hear what, you know, how is he going to say about the shirts, the Project 7 shirts that they all spent money on and Phil used for as rewards for his Patreon, right? That's one fucked up thing he won't mention. This is my prediction. He won't mention the Project 7 shirts because John and Howard both should get money for that. He also won't react to the part about Phil still making money on their work, because he still is making money on that work. He's not going to talk about that. Those are my two things he won't mention. He's going to talk about everything that's soft and easy to talk about, right? Like if they just talked to me and said this earlier, I would have changed. That stuff is so easy, right? He'll stay away from the really hard stuff to manage, right? And to spin into him being positive and improving, right? Meerkat, you can close it out. What do you expect for this big react?
Now I have, I think, some suggestions about what you said. And with the shirts, I think he's going to say that nobody wanted the shirts, because he's replied to that criticism alone by itself somewhere, maybe on some channel that got deleted. The shirts, he's going to say that nobody wanted to buy them, so what else would he do but give them away to fans? And Phil making money on their work, that I don't really know how he's going to respond to this. But I think, like you said, he would listen to it and try and twist stuff. But for me, like the way that I see it, I think he's going to listen to stuff and think to himself, how can I interpret this to make it seem like I did nothing wrong in this and it's not my fault? And convince himself in a way that he didn't do it. Or, of course, like I think I said last time, he's going to say that him in the past was an asshole, and he's going to admit to everything that they say about him. And it's going to be like, yeah, the past Phil was an asshole, but present Phil, he's a boss and runs a successful business, quote unquote.
I think if we go from recent... Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was just going to say, I haven't been watching a lot of Phil this week, but there have been a couple of things that he has said about this stream that I am particularly interested in. One thing he said, the production value is going to be the best he's ever had. Now that I'm interested to see, because I don't know what he means by that. And secondly, I forget what the second one was now. I'll come back to it if I remember it. But yeah, the production value thing I'm very intrigued by.
I think it might be the fact that there's some pay pig behind the scenes making a video. From what I understood, read on Kiwi Farm's Twitter or whatever. I haven't seen a clip about it or something. There's a pay pig behind the scenes making a video that's going to change the whole game. And it's going to change the optics on this situation drastically. So we're going to see what that bullshit is going to be and how funny it's going to be. And somebody's making a rebuttal video on Phil's behalf or with DSP in collaboration. That would be like some interesting shit that we can laugh at.
Wow.
Well, am I right in saying that there's no video to go with this? It's just audio, isn't it? The thing he's reacting to.
The original.
Yeah, okay.
The original is just audio. Yeah.
I thought the idea of the production value was DSP's response having the best production value he's ever had. I think that's what he meant by that.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if maybe someone's made him a video to go with the the audio. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean,
the other thing I remember, sorry, was that he has mentioned that he's gonna say, you know, he's gonna say a few things that are unexpected, you know, apologize for certain things and come clean about certain things. So that's what we can expect is some completely off the cuff reactions and stuff we've never heard before.
Oh yeah, everything's gonna be rehearsed like it's the Super Bowl performance, man. Everything's gonna be rehearsed to perfection. It's just gonna be the fakest shit he's ever done. Faker than the loot crate shilling.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, there's a callback to earlier.
And his react videos are extremely painful. So big ups to whoever's restreaming that. I don't know if you are, Meerkat, but wow. He just 10 seconds, pause. Okay, well, let's talk about this. Now, you got to remember, back at this time, and then the next segment he has to pause on, he starts with that again. Okay, well, you have to remember, this was 2007. A little different time here. And, like, he has to, every single thing he does that. It's like, oh, my God. He makes it take forever, more than the pre-stream, which is already just a master class in filling air with words that don't mean anything, if you ever listen to that. Like, I know, Sam, you made that video where you cut out all the nonsense, and there's nothing left, right? Because he makes a sentence that basically the bottom line is I'm tired into 5 minutes. You know, like
you would think me of all people, having made that video, would be able to sit and listen to stuff like this, but I haven't actually been able to sit and listen to one of these reactions yet for more than past maybe 10 minutes or so. I have to turn them off. You know, the pre-streams are usually pretty bad, but for some reason I really find this stuff difficult to listen to.
Yeah, and then when he laughs at stuff too, that is the cringe douche chills happen. That's what I could call it, douche chills, because he laughs and it's so fake. Like, oh my God, that was so crazy. I was such a different person then. It's like, shut the fuck up, God. I don't know how you watch those React videos and find any entertainment value out of them, unless you are analyzing the ridiculousness of them, which it feels like most people are that watch them. But there's some people that just really like it. I guess there has to be. They're giving money for it, right? They got hit the goal.
Well, if you read his comments, you're gonna see a bunch of people enjoy them. Apparently, those hot ones that have a couple of thousand views, man, people love Phil reacting to stuff and over exaggerating his reactions and laughing at Keemstar and shit, and not understanding what friendship is. Not even the concept of friendship. Ridiculous.
All right, I want to give. We're at the end of the show here. So, Janner, Sauce, you have a question for the new Phil. Let it fly right now as we close things out. I'm gonna do the final close plug here in very Phil fashion. We do have an audio version of the podcast, guys, so go check it out. If you could miss some of the show, it's going to be in all the podcast catchers, everything there. Follow us on Twitter. All the links are below. Meerkat's Discord is the new hot place to talk about the show, so go there if you want to talk to us, anything about the show. We'll be back next week around the same time. Jane or Sauce, you're running out of time for your question. Hurry up and get it in there before you end the show. This has got to be... It came in, guys. Here, I'm going to read to you, and I'll let you guys answer first. Do you think if the guidelines and the culture was the same, like it was back then... Oh, no. Two-parter. Hurry up. We got dead air here.
Would he still be the same way? Would he still act the same way if it was like it was back then, I guess, maybe?
I don't know.
Now I'm just making shit up.
Yeah.
Now I'm misinterpreting the question like Phil.
You dropped the ball here. We need the question, full question. But one thing, if you watch old Phil with Rambo, as I have done recently to kind of see what Rambo's talking about, and it's really, really bad Phil. It's the worst kind of Phil because he's overplaying himself, right? He's like, I have to be funny for Rambo too, and it's just really bad. Like those videos are old Phil. You can find some stuff that's like legitimately okay. It's interesting. He's playing the game. Whatever. It's all bad, but it's like not that bad. But when it's with Rambo, it's really bad, double bad. What do you say, Meerkat?
Yeah. It was like he was trying to impress him or something. It's like when you try and date a girl and you try and impress her by being a hammed up version of yourself, and you do all this like you do too much, and that's it. But Janner is back with a comment.
Okay.
So, do you think if the guidelines and the culture was the same like it was back then, do you think for a moment he would change to this new sensitive Phil? Who wants to go first?
No, I don't think he would. I think that's what people liked about him, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. He was kind of like the angry video game nerd.
Yeah, that was
a little more crass, if that's possible. So I don't think he would. I think he'd be the same. He will be whatever he can be. That doesn't get him into trouble, I guess. But sometimes it does. I don't know.
Yeah, just different time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'd say no. And that's why he got kind of big was back then was how he answered. I don't take no bullshit. I don't take any bullshit. What you hear from me is the real stuff. I'm not sharing anything. I don't censor myself. That was a big calling card, right? That's how it was back then. One more question here. This is turned into question corner here. I love it here. Does Phil suffer from sad dad syndrome where he just talks your ear off because he doesn't have friends or a life? I never heard of sad dad syndrome, if that's a thing. But I think yes, that's why he talks a lot. I think he's just trying to fill air. I think he really doesn't like streaming that much. I mean, that's what I think.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've never heard of sad dad syndrome, but yeah, I've got to say, sometimes he does remind me of my dad, to be honest, where the cringe filter's just not there, and you know, some of the language he uses. I won't say too much because I know I think we're gonna do a podcast on DSP-isms at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the stuff he comes out with does remind me of people I know of who don't have a cringe filter.
Yeah. Meerkat, any comments on sad dad syndrome?
I guess sad dad syndrome. I looked it up, but there's so much to read. I can't really fit it in the time slot we got. But I think he wants to talk your ear off because he is trying to at least somehow pretend that he's interesting in some way. But he doesn't do anything interesting. He doesn't know anything interesting. And the only thing that he can talk about is just kind of over-explaining daily life stuff that everybody can relate to, like going and make yourself dinner and taking a shower and going to the mall. And that he just explains this for 20 minutes. And that's for him an interesting story.
Yeah. He like builds it up like his working out. He talks about the walk for the first time. It was a whole deal.
Yeah.
All right, well, first I got to get all the workout clothes, then I take a quick walk. And, you know, around my neighborhood, it's not that straight of a walk, so I do a lot of turns. And then take a little turns. I'm all wet, all sweaty, of course. I get in, have to take a shower. Oh, I always said Leanna. Oh, Kat's in the shower. Had to wait for her to come out. Then I see Jasper. He wants to play around for a little bit. Get out. Got to take a towel. Dry off. You know, that takes some time.
Kat's boyfriend was also in the shower with her. You got to wait for him to get done.
You can't like do the towel too hard because you can kind of scratch your skin, right? It gets a little scratchy.
Oh, yeah.
So don't want to do that.
He has sensitive skin.
Then I come back, get to the stream, have to set up the stream. It just like that's he makes every story sound like very interesting, but it's not.
Yeah.
But we are at the point of rambling though, so I'm going to call this the end of the show, my friends. I hope everyone out there enjoyed our second edition here of this That Being Said podcast. Remember, I already gave the plugs, I'm not giving them again. If you want to follow us, you know where to follow us. Fantastic Sam, final words.
Yeah, you can find me at FantasticMrSam on YouTube and Twitter. I do have a new video in the works. It's kind of taken a little bit of a backseat over the last week or two, but hopefully that'll be out in the next month or so, maybe. So
awesome. Meerkat?
Look forward to that.
Big ups to everybody. Thanks for being here. T-pose, prayer hands, drop something in chat and a comment and a like. And we're going to see you next time. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today and having this great talk together. And we will see you guys next time. If we do, if we don't, then something happened. I don't know. And it's nothing I could do.
Nothing we could do about it. Kat, by the way, Kat agrees with us. So big ups, everyone. You guys rock.